I'm on the grind, yeah, my paper stacking gradually. They want me out the way, but never took a stab at me. I'm not concerned with no salary. I put my money up and do it by myself, that's why they mad at me. Negativity spreads faster, so I got some money just to spit at you bastards. Bitch, I be cashing, you never on your grind, you be lacking. Claiming that they really bought as solid as plastic, man. Listen, I'm in the kitchen, I be chefing up, but I'm nice with the grams, I had to step my cheddar up. Let's level up, crabs in the barrel could be a downfall, so I peep game and just stand tall. Let's go.
Welcome to Creative Collection NYC.
Yes, sir.
I like
Yes,
that
sir.
royalty. I like that one.
Yeah, that joint is hard. It's it's one of them
No,
raw joints, like. How's everybody feeling today?
Expansion,
Doing
Chamber
good,
of the
doing
Year.
good.
oh yeah, see
Started,
another day. Yeah.
All right, that's good. Well, I'm good myself. We here, we back at it again, what I'm saying? This is Creative Collection. And today we talking about divine femininity because we just want to, get into the element, that mature element, and speak on balancing relationships out, balancing the understanding out between woman and man, and really bringing it to more of a sacred place, because we see out here that it's a lot of imbalance going on, and I think having a conversation about this is going to help get people get a better understanding of like balance, because we sometimes overdo the masculinity. Sometimes women are just trying to be masculine. Sometimes femininity is getting taken out of this context. Then people think they got certain stigmas, and different things work for many people. So it's a various amount of things I'm sure we all going to share to help balance this thing out, so we all could be more comfortable with ourselves. All right. So we have our special guest Tina today.
I'm no special than the next person than anyone else on this channel, but thank you guys.
Stop it, stop it. We
Okay.
got the queen in the building.
Nah,
Miss
listen.
Tina
Noisy.
P.
But
You
thank
heard,
you
you
guys.
heard, you heard. Dumble TJ.
Yeah.
Oh, Don,
Don
come on,
DeMarco.
we're Don. I can see on.
Well, my opinion is that everybody is special in their own way. You know what I'm saying? I look at it as like we all famous because God knows. You know what I mean? That's just my slogan. So
That's
I
right.
look at everybody as special. If you coming through to provide good energy, raise the frequency, and trying to learn, whether even if you're trying to learn, or if you come in and spit some knowledge, just you have something special about you. So it is what it is.
In that
Exactly.
regard.
And what Kanye said, Tina? He only got one audience. Perform for
All
one
right,
person.
that's God. We do this for God, and that's God in us,
Amen.
and
Amen.
God in all of us.
Right.
Hey, so,
All right. All praise to the Most High for sure.
right.
So
Right.
And when I say God, I mean for Creator. Um, and I said this before too. We attach male to Him, and if I slip in this call, it's just due to my condition. But I mean all of consciousness and spirit that dwells within us all. So all
right.
is
Right. And that's the purpose of this conversation is a balance. It's masculine and feminine in
right.
us all and God and he created masculine and feminine for a reason. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we have you here, because we feel like you're a perfect example of a divine feminine and you got a successful story in that field. So it's like we need you to break it down to this generation here that is trapped in the mass confusion of the agenda
Oh
that
yeah.
is to destroy what God created.
That's right.
So thank
And I
you for
guess
Right.
coming here.
thank you for having me, y'all. And you were saying a successful story. My success is just in the fact that I have awakened to the divinity in me. And like I say, it's a lot of noise, systemically created, that block us from tuning into self, from even realizing self is there. As we're told that what's in us is actually external of us. So it's a process. For all of us. So that's my success in awakening to the God in me, opening that third spiritual eye, um, when we're conditioned by religion to only see the material world. So yes, that's what we're
Mm.
trying to get people to. You know, true knowledge of self. So, and y'all don't mind me if I start rambling in the beginning because I get comfortable in a few minutes. It always starts like this. I'm
That's
illuminated.
okay. That's what we want. We got
Yeah,
we here for it.
and, and people need to see that part too. So, uh,
Right. Yeah, you gotta
Right.
get a warm up.
yeah, yeah. So, but
All
yeah.
right.
Oh, go ahead, y'all.
No, if you have something else to say, go ahead. Share it. We in introduction mode right now. You good?
Yeah. But that's divine feminine waking up to, the God in me. And that was a process in itself, you guys. I literally woke up 10 years ago, had my spiritual awakening. So began the journey of self-awareness, I guess, and growth. And I guess I'm 15 years married, and I wanted to get into that as well, just as far as him allowing me the space to grow, and I think that's
Right.
something that couples really need to know that they need to work together on, because it is a serious process, you guys, where your reality is shaken to the core, and questioning everything that we've been taught is true. It looks crazy. It's stressful. No one understands when you're going against a majority faith system that says what we're doing is witchcraft or blasphemous. So yeah, I want to get into all that stuff with you guys too. How couples really need to prepare themselves for that process and be ready to grow.
Yeah.
I think.
Very important point. Very important point. Psychological depression and spiritual depression is definitely something that intervenes in relationships, man, and that's something to touch, and that's how I could tell you have some serious experience on you. And I just want to shout you out, for what you've been doing, and for making it and having 15 years and having that success with you. Speak
Yes.
about, because it is definitely important. It's very important
Yeah.
to have these experiences shared.
It's a lot of work, and that's
It's
beautiful.
good work though. It's good work, and I won't. It's teamwork. I won't even call it hard work, but the hardest part in the way this society is built is coming together. It's not hard, and that's what we're conditioned to think. That these relationships.
Thank you. Thank you
Right.
for saying that, because that needs to be realized too as well. It's just, I think you know um once the agreement happens, I mean, like, really happens. Like, I feel like once the agreement happens spiritually, I feel like the rest of the work is just like, all right, the lifting,
Yeah,
from my
and
understanding anyway.
it's a process, but once both are in line with it, like I said, I woke up and started this talk before my husband, and but he was willing to come with me on that journey. And it's something that if they're not, or if they're not prepared or willing, once they're prepared or willing, you will get through that process. But just getting through that point, I think that's where a lot of people branch off or separate. When one is spiritually elevating into something, into an awareness that contradicts what we've been brought up in, and he's got to be willing to come along when it's going against everything that he too was taught. Even though he had his own questions um, about the faith, Christianity, and all of that. But I guess you really got to like someone to want to come along with them and like them and love them. And we get a lot of people that are together for convenience. So I think this awakening is going to expose a lot of those type of relationships.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah,
Definitely for convenience. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't I mean, I just want to say, since we're talking about solutions here, the convenience thing, for anybody that's thinking about it, you seeing, a woman and she's beautiful, and ladies, you seeing this guy and he's handsome, but he ain't clicking with you spiritually, he ain't clicking with you mentally, he ain't, growing in a certain way with you where y'all can mesh. Don't do it because of the convenience. At least do it because you see that effort is there to shift somewhere or
The,
something. Don't do it because of the
Right.
good look and all that, having them on your arm and all that. Nah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Don't
because
do
the
it.
inconvenience, the settling, you're going to be miserable. You're going to always be unhappy. You're
yeah,
not going
and
to
it's
be true
gonna
to
show.
yourself. Yeah, it's
It's
going to
gonna
fold.
show that that's exactly what you're doing. So, but that's the sad part, is that it's the majority. That's a very common occurrence for us. So, I don't know. I don't know how to get people on board. Well, it's happening. It's
I think
definitely
the
happening.
most important thing, really, to get people on board, which is something that's been repeated over and over. But like once you, well, we're raising the frequency here, you know. So
Yeah.
like unlearning and then coming back to see something again is like a whole different level when you learn something again.
Yeah.
So before you get with somebody, just really, you know, just think about having a whole family and having children with this person and having that energy reinvented into life again. And you having to manage that and make sure that goes well. Just think about that. Not only is it going to be hard and challenging for you, but you're also creating a certain energy and putting it into society, into the world. You
Yeah.
bringing another one of God's children out here, and you're not even, comfortably settled in your situation. So it's just something to watch for.
I want to chime in on some things regarding how you manage, because it's about balance. It's about balancing as a woman, as a female, a real
Mhm.
woman. I want you to no,
Speak
no,
on that
no,
point.
no definition. No definition, because we all know what a woman is. We're not gonna
Right.
play stupid here. We're not gonna play with God. We're not gonna play with fire. We are women. We give birth. We know what it is. But I
Yeah.
do want you to just, talk
Our
about that
yeah.
balance with the
And
being.
I think, we're all different. Life is dual. We all have masculine and feminine in us, but we present obviously as either or. And as feminines, our job, we are the teachers. I was saying this to you before. We're the nurturers. We're the teachers, especially. We're the first teachers for all life, that comes through us. So, we have our divine roles and distinctions. Clearly, feminine, woman, we have our womb. Life comes through us. We're the portal, but it takes masculine as well to create that divine vessel, for spirit to incarnate into. But our roles are to teach, um, I think, and to nurture, also protect. And that's where, we share the attributes of masculine. Masculine shares the attribute of feminine, and they are to love, but they're also to provide and protect. They're built different for a reason. So we have our divine roles, and this society is obviously attempting to invert and blur those lines. And you've got now where the feminist movement, I think it made it all about money too. I feel like that was the main push in that movement. That females are supposed to be making just as much money, or we can do equal jobs as men, so we should be making as much money. We've turned into this boss chick mentality, and I think people are confusing divine feminine with that, and that's what's pulling us out of the home. And now we're losing our role as the teacher and the nurturer of our young. Um, and I also wanted to say too, I think there's this notion that we're not to submit, that is a subservient state. But I think in a true union, a truly divine union, and I've always said this, both parties will submit to one another. It's mutual. But at our core, we have our distinct roles. I'm here to nurture and teach and love, and masculine provides, protects, loves as well. But that line has obviously been blurred, uh, and our role is being negated. You see the reverse or reinversion. Men can be women, females are out getting the bags, and that's our fall. You know, that's the fall of the nuclear family, all of that. So the awakening is bringing us back to self, to our divine roles. I'm so glad to see, all this talk, women, like, I give Beyonce credit on us leaving our jobs, and returning home. But in being pulled from the home to go chase bags, and now that's what that's what's selling, and you're not a real woman if you're not out here, rolling, just racking in money. And I think too, because right, I'm stay at home mom these last 5 years. I was a bookkeeper for 10 years in the school system, and I do have my real estate broker license, freight broker license, and everything. Right now, I'm on pause, and it's a moral thing. And I feel like what I'm up against, and even in my messaging, it's dismissed because the perception of what a real woman is not a woman who is at home, homeschooling, with a child at home, being homeschooled, and taking care of home and taking care of your husband. You hear me? And making home, making the house a home. That is looked down on. I should be out chasing money and being a boss chick, and my message is irrelevant until I have established myself as that. I love that I'm here to counter that paradigm. I love that my walk and that my husband has allowed me to sit at, be home to grow in myself and literally preach and teach what I'm teaching and changing that narrative.
That's
That's
great.
beautiful.
It
Yeah.
sounds like you get to spend a lot of time, with the family and really
Yeah.
actually seeing what it's like to just really be like a human for a second, not being out there,
Yes.
working your butt off for some 9 to 5, you know what I'm saying, giving all your years and days and your time and energy and your soul. You're basically giving your soul to these jobs. And I
Yeah.
understand a woman wanting to be independent and make that money. I get that because this world is crazy. They done, stuff done went up 300% since back in the day. So we understand the dynamic of that. But to make it a goal and to make it a like desire and just like
An
just to prey up on it
expectation.
like this, like
Yeah.
we got to think about it different to make sure we don't shift ourselves into that too much spiritually. We got to at least, even if we do the 9 to 5, keep ourselves spiritually like, yo, I'm a mother, at least hold on to that.
But that's the thing too. Like people, it's the weirdest thing, and I thank God for how everything has turned out for me. But being outside of that and looking at how everybody who is in the workforce essentially became a slave to that process, but how that boxed them into not being able to question when this whole agenda was happening right now, you guys, out with this whole reset and genocide, how so many women who are on that end of the spectrum, the boss chicks, and just and even the women who are out working, the money silenced so many people from speaking up, or the employer fearing for their job, or fear, if it was going to cost them contracts, all that type of stuff, kept people quiet. So it's interesting that the paradigm we're in, where we got to be out working, you're not good enough if you're not, you got to be a boss chick, and being in that paradigm is what literally kept people from hearing themselves. That's the noise that we talk about. You're stressed with work. So nobody had time to really process what was going on. That was a setup. Like I said, I got to be home. I got to sit, research so much stuff in these last 5 years that led up to 2020 that I didn't even know was going to be what it was, but was ready for it. And you know what I'm saying? And was ready to speak against it. Where so many people who are in this false paradigm of femininity have been silent, enlightening our people to what's really going on, Does
Absolutely.
that make sense? Stepping back into my divine role literally allowed me to see and speak against what was happening and protect my family. Tried to protect my community, protect my people, but like I said, you're invalidated because you are a who are you? I'm not out here. And that was the pushback from so many people when I'm saying don't take these shots. I gotta work. You don't have to work. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to work for nobody. If I don't take it, I'll get fired. Then what? And that was the pushback from so many females and mothers. You hear me? Where I'm trying to tell them, like, they're trying to kill us. And the pushback from the working women is, you don't know what you're talking about as a mother who's at home, and then you're discredited. And look at the fall that happened as a result. Everybody
Mhm.
took it.
Right.
Divine feminine didn't step up when that was our job. I'm here to share that message. We're shifting into this new paradigm. People are seeing we need to come back home, and I'm just here to speak that into existence, and I be a walking example of how to do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, interestingly enough, this right here was just an introduction. So,
Oh,
Yeah. Just
we're gonna really
that
dig
right
in now.
there.
We're gonna
That's
really dig it.
that's what we really wanted to basically uh get out there to the world everything that you
Yeah.
introduced to, just to uh, baby step this whole concept of what is a woman's role? How can you stay in your feminine role without overstepping the boundaries of a male? Because men are supposed to be, like we always, been told, or we always expect them to be the protectors. But us as mothers and women, we protect as well.
Yeah.
We were put here to help out the man, our partner,
Mm-hmm.
and protect the children that we bear, protect and the home.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to keep the house clean and do these things so that the man can, feel comfortable and loved and
We,
enjoy his family,
and
enjoy
we,
his, being a man.
that's
You
right.
know what I'm saying?
We're their motivation, you know.
Right,
We're their motivation, what makes them want to go out and do that damn work, all that physical labor, you know.
right,
Um, but like I said, when we're distracted with the stress of work and what society says we're supposed to be, and being told you got to make time for you like I'm always with when you're married you become one, so that's priority. It ain't no I still get 50-50 time with my friends. I mean, to each their own if you can find that balance, but a lot of people are like that, you still have your life and your married life. Like, no, every part of my life is now him, you know. um and it sounds, I don't, the people, I'm sure most people wouldn't understand that. Um, but it works, you know, it works. But that has to be your focus. And like I say, we are taught, society tells us that it's not supposed to be. You have your marriage and then you have your life. And whether you look like 50-50 with your spouse, you know what I'm saying? It's no. I mean, 50-50 with your spouse versus friends. Your commitment is to the household. And we've got so many things pulling us from there that the household is no longer the priority. So, like I said, females got to take back that power, start making house a home, respecting these men, and lifting these men up, encouraging them. We're used to toxicity, and people think you got to fight to know that they love you. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Uh, all of that false programming, you guys, we got to shift out of.
Right. Well, one thing I wanted to say is that I think there's a major amount of balance that can happen even with staying home. And but one of the important things that can happen is you spending time with the children, and I think this will literally save us from those early days of indoctrination. You know what I mean? Because if you're educated and you're educating yourself spiritually and you're getting the knowledge about the herbs and you're growing the foods and you're doing this and you're doing that, then now
Yeah,
you're laying down that foundation for the children, besides putting them in this indoctrination camp and got
yeah,
them learning whatever they learn and going through whatever they're going through at school. I think things can be figured out in such a creative way. Let me get you a social life. Let's put you in a little club or something. Okay, there's no
yeah,
school. We're gonna put you in a club, play basketball. Get around some people still, so you're not like a kid in the house all day. And we're gonna do some things to fill that void of school. But we're gonna get
yeah.
you right with the education.
And my daughter, she's 13, so she's been home with me since COVID started and everybody got sent home. And I just decided she wasn't going back into the school buildings when everybody else did. So she's been home with me during the most pivotal years of her life. You hear me? Teenage years, middle school. And with what everyone else is being programmed into, like I said, it's one of the rare opportunities where my daughter, even though she's on the public online schooling, there's so much stuff that she's hearing from me just being at home with me all day that counters so much that they're being taught, not just through the curriculum, but I'm able to counter it. She hears me all day talking about different stuff. She sees me. I got my little garden in the backyard. She sees me outside during the day tending to it. This is stuff that most Black kids, because the homeschooling thing isn't a norm for most people of color. Um, So my daughter, like I say, yeah, I get to be home and she gets to see something different and she's not exposed to, and mind you, and I'm not perfect, you guys. Like I know she needs more social time. And she do be on that internet, but she don't have a phone. It's like she gets to see something so different than what her peers are experiencing. Um, and then I'm always there talking a different talk than what the teachers in the school are talking, you know? So yeah, I literally get to be home instilling some stuff in my daughter that most kids are not getting from their parents who are at work from 9 to 5,
Right.
7 o'clock, including traffic, you know?
And that's our job. Like as parents, we're supposed to counteract and teach
Yes,
and at home
yes,
because what though the schools are teaching, we don't necessarily agree with everything that they teach, and we know that it's the indoctrination. So I have to constantly tell my daughter as well, like, okay, you see this test, this is
yep,
pre-written test. This is what they want you to know. You have to
that's
answer the
correct.
questions based on what you are reading. Don't answer the questions based on what you know, what your opinion is. You have to read the story and answer the questions based on what the story is that they gave to you.
Yeah.
And
And that's
you
what,
know,
yes, and that's the thing too. Like we can't block them from a lot of the stuff that society is pushing on them and the teachers online as well. It's not that bad. I really want to uplift the online digital learning for a lot of
yeah,
people. But
yeah,
but that's the one thing I told her. I can't stop them from telling you what they want to tell you, but I can damn sure counter their information so that you can make an informed decision. It's not one-sided or biased. And you're gonna trust me prayerfully. You love me enough. You respect me. I've instilled it in in you enough who I am that what I'm saying makes sense. But she gets both sides where these kids are not getting both sides. No one's contradicting. So that one side, that institutionalizing side, has more weight over the parent because they're not aware of what they're learning and they're not aware that the stuff they're learning needs to be contradicted. My daughter had an assignment last week and it was saying, the different income ranges for based on your education level. So what education do you need for 30 grand? What education do you need for 90 grand? What education do you need for 200? And on all of them, I kept telling her, just put high school. You don't have to put anything outside of high school, and it's inclining her to answer, college, master's, associate, you know what I'm saying? And I said,
yeah,
no, that's what they want you to think, that to be successful, whether it's financially or just by means of peace and finding pure happiness, that you have to have high degrees to do that. And that's a lie. So I'm able to tell her that. And I said, you can put that in there. Your mama said, you don't got to, I don't need more than high school. I'm gonna have to go to college to make 200 grand. You hear me? But that's what they want you to think. I get to counter that. So, and that's a prime example where I can empower her to even speak against what they're telling her is. You can write that on your test, baby. You don't need, you know, 8 years of college to be successful in life. You know?
there you go. You see, design. I said that to you too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
that's what they make us think that we
Yeah. That's
need for
all.
all of these years of
facts.
answering questions, taking tests. You got to
Mhm.
remember all this information, regurgitate it. All you're doing is remembering information, and that's a lot of information you got to unlearn
And that's the
because
passive
That's
class.
you
right.
know what I'm saying.
That's right. That's the programming that you got to break from. Well, didn't nobody tell me what I was learning from wrong? It was wrong. All these people put this on me, and nobody countered it. So how am I? It's hard to unlearn that, you know. So,
Exactly.
and that's what we're
Exactly.
up against. At least mine's coming in here, knowing truth, knowing the whole story. You know.
Right. So, Tina, I wanted to ask you, what was your journey? How was your journey on raising your vibration?
Oh goodness. I said, woo. That there's a reason that a lot of the people who were speaking on all the conspiracy stuff back in the 70s and 60s when the mental institutions, they were trying to, calling them crazy. That is a process that for you, um, you're trying to make sense of it all, but it's a years long process of other people not understanding your questioning of things, and you're speaking on things that are you're being triggered, stuff that don't make sense. And you're having these conversations, and it's something that everyone looks at you like we're crazy for. So I think the hardest part in that process, and it's 10 years process, literally. But the hardest part was not being understood, which makes you feel crazy, though you know you're not, but everyone is looking at you like you are. That's the hardest part of this growth. And I think once we get people in tune to this whole process of awakening, and what is it like? Just the unraveling of, once we get people used to what this process entails, it's going to be a lot easier for other people to go through it, because majority will be understanding of that process. Where me going through it these last 10 years and being the only one of the only, I'm the only, I was old soul, that's what they called me. But going through this and literally being one of the only ones in my entire family going through this process, proclaiming I am God, okay? And everybody looking at me like blasphemous, right? That, like I said, that was the hardest part of it. Acceptance from everyone else that thought you were losing it for questioning everything, and that's what the awakening will lead you into. Asking questions, which is literally how you seek for understanding. It's a learning experience that when it hits you, like it's so intriguing. That's all you want to do is know more and seek out more and tune in more. But like I said, it's something that when everybody don't wake up at the same time, and when I guess we're not the forefront, because there's been plenty of people before us, but for what's happening now for this 2020 shift, definitely I went through it these 10 years, and now people are just now starting their own. Slowly it's starting to happen. More people are like, okay, wait a minute. But that's the hardest part, is everyone else looking at you. So I'm glad that more people are coming in tune to the concept of awakening and seeking, so that as they start going through it, they're in their relationships, it's going to be a lot more easier for people to deal. Because I know that when I shifted, my husband, his mom, devout Christian, she loved her Jesus, bless her heart. It was hard. You hear me? Because I'm saying I'm God, and everyone that I know is saying it's blasphemous. Well, like I said, and then I'm coming out of atheism too, you guys. So, and I went from atheism to I am God. Okay, and
It's a process.
for me, I was okay. I'm like, it's shocking, it's scary, but I'm so ready to go through this. But you just, your husband, like a lot of people not ready. They gotta like you, man, to want to come along for this ride. Because your everything unravels from it. Everything we've been taught as truth, you're now starting to face and acknowledge and speak for the lies that they were. And people aren't ready for that. In marriage, I thank God my husband, when I was in atheism, said I have enough faith for the both of us. Like, we really need to choose wisely, and you really need to like who you're choosing,
Yeah, that's beautiful.
like and love. But like, love for everybody, but you really gotta like someone to want to be up under them. I love my
Yes,
Yeah.
a
mom.
lifetime.
I love my sisters. Some people you got so many hours, but you really got to like someone to want to follow them with this and get on board with it as well. And through my growth, um, you know, a lot of things that he had questioned, like, he's grown into his own awareness too, and accepting the questions that he had.